I am the Lawmaster, and these are the teachings of the Adepta Sororitas.
The Emperor is our father and our guardian, but we must also guard the Emperor.
Emerging from the shadowy annals of the Imperium of Man, the Adepta Sororitas, whispered as the Sisterhood, stand as the fierce feminine force of the universe. Known more commonly in battlefields as the Sisters of Battle, and once revered as the Daughters of the Emperor, they are the embodiment of divinity within the Grand Cathedral of the Adeptus Ministorum, or more grandly, the Ecclesiarchy. The orders militant of the Sisterhood serve not just as soldiers. They are the holy purifiers of the Ecclesiarchy. With unyielding conviction, they relentlessly pursue spiritual maleficence and treachery, ensuring that the institutions of the Adeptus Terra remain untainted. In the vast expanse of the Imperium, where lines often blur, the Sisterhood's role sometimes echoes that of the Imperial Inquisition. And though they walk different paths, their destinies are intertwined. The mighty orders militant of the Adepta Sororitas don the mantle of the Chamber Militant for the Inquisition's Ordo Hereticus. While many might gaze upon the Adepta Sororitas and the Sisters of Battle as one entity, it's essential to discern the nuance. The term Sisters of Battle is a homage to the Orders Militant, the heart of the sisterhood that pulses with bravery, familiar to every Imperial citizen. The story of the Sisterhood's ascension is entwined with the very edicts of the Ecclesiarchy. In the aftermath of the Dark Age of Apostasy's reign of blood in the 36th millennium, the decree passive was birthed by the visionary ecclesiarch Sebastian Thor. He decreed that no men under arms would serve the Ecclesiarchy, a move to curtail the unbridled might of the once corrupt Frateris Templar, who from the 32nd to the 36th millennia wielded their power without bounds. Yet, in a universe where resolve trumps mandates, the Adeptus Ministorum found a way. With a knowing nod from the Inquisition, they unveiled the all-female legion of the Sisterhood's Orders Militant, ensuring the Ecclesiarchy's flame burned ever bright. In the vast cosmos, amidst stars and voids, the Adepta Sororitas emerge as legendary titans. Renowned as the Sisters of Battle, they are an elite cadre of warrior women, molded from tender age to venerate the Emperor of mankind. Their fervent devotion and unyielding purity form an unbreakable shield against the onslaught of corruption, treachery, and extraterrestrial threats. When they unsheathe their weapons, enemies tremble, for they know no respite until vanquished. These battle sisters, with undying resolve, will march through infernos, unleashing a symphony of destruction from their bolters with every determined stride. Even in death, their spirit remains unyielding. The sacrifice of martyrs only ignites fiercer flames of determination, pushing them to monumental feats in tribute to those they've lost. At the heart of the Imperium stands the Adeptus Ministorum, universally revered as the Ecclesiarchy. This monolithic cathedral of faith heralds the God Emperor as humanity's beacon and disseminates the Imperial Creed, a mantra echoing across galaxies. Serving as the armed force of the Ecclesiarchy, the Sisters of Battle don armor forged from the finest ceramite. Gifted with formidable arsenals, their war gear is a testament to the vast coffers of the Ecclesiarchy, ensuring they stand equipped with the Imperium's zenith of craftsmanship. These sisters are the epitome of human potential, representing an unwavering dedication and unparalleled discipline. The enemies of the Emperor find formidable adversaries in them, for with unyielding faith and steel, they confront any opposition. When not in battle, their lives oscillate between rigorous martial training and deep reverence for the God Emperor. To the Adepta Sororitas, martial prowess and spiritual devotion are harmoniously intertwined. While tactics and training refine their physical and mental acumen, it's their devout prayers that fortify their souls, essential for vanquishing the vast adversaries of the Imperium. This synthesis of devotion and battle art is a mesmerizing spectacle. The sisters, with voices resonating like a divine chorus, chant hymns of valor as they advance, invoking the Emperor's benevolence to guide their strikes. Such unwavering faith is their greatest arsenal, manifesting as divine epiphanies that propel the Sororitas to extraordinary martial heights. Imbued with sacred zeal, they transcend mortal limitations, enduring catastrophic injuries and harnessing otherworldly strength to decimate adversaries. For the Sisters of Battle, their faith isn't just a belief, it's an omnipotent weapon, outshining the hardest steel. Eyewitnesses to their miraculous exploits in battlefields are left in awe, firmly convinced of the Emperor's presence beside these devout champions. When the drums of war sound, the Adepta Sororitas hold one truth above all. Until the last enemy falls, their crusade will never cease. The Age of Apostasy.
Heretics crave the cleansing fire of absolution. They need not fear, for we shall deliver it to them.
In the heart of the 36th millennium, during the tumultuous Age of Apostasy, the Adepta Sororitas found their genesis. This was a time when the ecclesiarchy, the spiritual heart of the Imperium, wielded unparalleled might. Each and every subject of the Emperor, from every corner of the Imperium, was bound to offer both spiritual homage and material tribute to the ecclesiarchy's guardians. The grip of the ecclesiarchy tightened to the extent that even the Senatorum Imperialis, the governing council of the High Lords of Terror, found themselves overshadowed by its directives. As the ecclesiarch's voice echoed with the very will of the Emperor, it began shaping every layer of the Imperium's framework. The mightier sectors of the Imperium started feeling stifled, with resentment growing especially within the Adeptus Administratum. Their once vast reservoirs of influence and wealth were now diverted, siphoned off by the Ministerum's overriding tithes. As the ecclesiarchy's dominance continued to rise, the Administratum's once formidable authority dimmed. Matters once deemed secular, from marshalling armies to determining war strategies, even to the appointment of sector lords, came under the Ministerum's shadow. Trust within the Imperium started to erode, with powerful factions like the Adeptus Astartes and the Adeptus Mechanicus becoming disillusioned with the religious-dominated leadership. However, the universe wasn't done testing the Imperium. A surge in warp storms, tempestuous cosmic phenomena, severed vast parts of the Imperium from one another, crippling interstellar travel and communications. As these chaotic rifts intensified, the established order began to crumble. With the black ships of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica struggling to navigate, numerous worlds were left vulnerable to demonic onslaughts and the dominion of the enslavers. Chaos ensued, and even planets that remained connected faced brutal crackdowns from the harsh Frateris Templars. Humanity's adversaries seized the opportunity. Traitor legions emerged from the Eye of Terror, wielding dark arts to attack isolated worlds. The Orcs, navigating their makeshift space hulks through the warp, sowed chaos wherever they emerged. The Drukhari, using the webway's arcane passages, raided at will, dragging countless souls to the nightmarish depths of Comora. A dark pall settled over the Imperium, with apocalyptic hysteria consuming its worlds. Radical sects emerged, preaching that the God Emperor was heralding the end of days. The atmosphere was thick with desperation and madness, and planets were engulfed in waves of self-inflicted violence and chaos. Amidst this chaos, Goge Van Deer, the shrewd 361st Master of the Administratum, rose to prominence. Through a mix of cunning, intimidation and treachery, he'd long positioned himself against the Ministerum. In a pivotal move, Van Deer ensured his own loyalist, Paulus III, became the figurehead of the ecclesiarchy. However, when Paulus's ineptitude became a liability, Van Deer took direct action, using the Astra Militarum to stage a coup and eliminate the puppet ecclesiarch. Seizing the titles of both the ecclesiarch and Master of the Administratum, Van Deer's combined might was unparalleled, yet his reign only intensified the chaos, dragging the Imperium into its most brutal civil strife since the Horus Heresy, a dark chapter forever remembered as the Reign of Blood. Daughters of the Emperor. During the initial phases of Van Deer's oppressive reign, he received a report from his emissary about a distinctive sect of warrior women on the lesser-known Agri world of San Leor. Intrigued by their fervent commitment to the Emperor, their ascetic lifestyles, and more so by their combat prowess, Vandir resolved to personally visit the remote convent known as the Daughters of the Emperor. The unsuspecting inhabitants of Saint-Léor only became aware of the powerful visit when Vandir's vast retinue descended upon their humble settlements, mandating unwavering allegiance to the High Lord under threat of execution. Recordings of these grandiose marches, captured by numerous servo skulls, circulated throughout every accessible world of the Imperium. The imagery of Vandir's grand reception on Saint-Léor became emblematic in ecclesiarchy broadcasts. Upon reaching the convent's entrance, Vandir was met with shut doors. The gatekeeper resolutely declared that the Daughters of the Emperor only acknowledged the supremacy of the God Emperor, refusing entry to any man. While Vandir's entourage anxiously awaited an eruption of anger, the High Lord remained unexpectedly composed. With tranquility, Vandir assured the gatekeeper that he acted under the Emperor's own mandate and requested entry alongside a minimal escort. Yielding to his plea, the Daughters of the Emperor allowed Vandir and a select few to enter their sanctuary. In the main courtyard, Vandir boldly claimed that he was under the Emperor's blessing, vowing his own death should he be deceitful. Holding his rosarius aloft, Vandir commanded a hesitant bodyguard to target and shoot him. With great reluctance, the guard took aim and fired. An intense radiance enveloped Vandir, and once it faded, he stood unscathed. The entire assembly was awestruck, with the Daughters of the Emperor pledging their loyalty to the High Lord. Unbeknownst to the sisters, Vandir had deceived them, relying on their unfamiliarity with the rosarius. It was the device's protective energy barrier, not the Emperor's divine shield, that repelled the shot. Nevertheless, the Daughters of the Emperor devoted themselves to Vandir's service, adopting a new title, the Brides of the Emperor. Equipped with Vandir's finest weaponry and armor, these sisters evolved into his elite protectors. Serving both as vigilant bodyguards and ruthless enforcers, the Brides of the Emperor became a symbol of Vandir's omnipotence. Their unyielding presence became a legend across the Imperium, ensuring that none would dare defy Vandir's under their watchful eyes. The Terran Crusade. In the throes of Vandir's malevolent reign of blood, countless lives were consumed by its horrors. Amidst this shadowy era, a reformist group called the Confederation of Light, under the leadership of the charismatic Sebastian Thor, rose to challenge Vandir's treachery. The Confederation's vision was of a church devoted not to political power, but to the benevolence and grace of the Emperor, a vision that resonated with many yearning for liberation from Vandir's tyranny. With his unparalleled oratory prowess, Sebastian Thor rallied numerous planets to his side, effectively countering Vandir's dominance. As Thor's movement began overpowering Vandir's adherents, the Space Marines and the Adeptus Mechanicus, who had mainly been on the defensive throughout the Age of Apostasy, united with Thor to confront Vandir on Terra. Realizing Vandir's growing instability, the Fabricator General Gustaf Hediatrix of the Adeptus Mechanicus prompted the Senatorum Imperialis to unseat him. In response, Vandir disbanded the Senatorum Imperialis, branding both the Mechanicus and the Adeptus Astartes as heretics and traitors. This provocation compelled the Space Marines to re-evaluate their stance on Vandir and the overarching reign of blood. At the apex of the Age of Apostasy, in 378 M36, an elite coalition of the Imperial Fists, Black Templars, Firehawks, Soul Drinkers, alongside the Adeptus Mechanicus, stormed Vandir's fortress, the immense ecclesiarchal palace on Terra. Anticipating mere resistance from the fervent but ill-prepared Frateris Templar, the Space Marines executed their signature swift drop pod assault. To their surprise, they encountered elite warrior women in power armor, brandishing bolters. These defenders showcased an unprecedented fervor, convinced they were the Emperor's last line of defense. Faced with such formidable opponents, the Space Marines' attack faltered, resulting in a prolonged and harrowing siege of the ecclesiarchal palace. The intense standoff persisted for months. The end to the chaos came when Centurion Longinus of the Adeptus Custodes introduced Alicia Dominica and her trusted allies, Vandier's primary defenders, to the god emperor seated on the golden throne. The historical accounts don't detail this meeting, but its aftermath was clear. Dominica and her team, filled with righteous anger, confronted Vandier in his chambers. In the midst of one of his manic rants, they condemned him for his sacrileges against the emperor. Vandier's alleged last utterance was, "I don't have time to die, I'm too busy." Without hesitation, Alicia Dominica unsheathed her power sword, decapitating the High Lord. Legend states that Vandier's once protective Rosarius, which had shielded him on San Leor, now betrayed him, split asunder by Alicia's decisive strike. The gruesome reign of blood had met its end. The reformation of the ecclesiarchy.
Let the word of the Emperor be heard once more wherever men gather and look upwards unto the stars. Let them know that the Emperor looks back upon them from the golden throne, wherever in this benighted galaxy they might reside.
Following the fall of Vandier, Sebastian Thor rose as the 292nd ecclesiarch, marking the onset of a new era of recovery for the Imperium. One of the most significant reforms that Thor introduced pertained to the military dominion of the Ministorum. The remnants of the Frateris Templars were disbanded as per the Decree Passive, which explicitly prohibited the Adeptus Ministorum from wielding men under arms. This ensured that the ecclesiarchy could never again pose a threat to the Administratum's governance. After reverting to their original title, the Daughters of the Emperor, the brides found themselves seeking a renewed purpose. This void presented the ecclesiarchy with a chance to integrate them into the Ministorum's military divisions. Since the Daughters of the Emperor consisted solely of women, they weren't in violation of the Decree Passive. Even if this approach seemed to bend Thor's directive, the ecclesiarchy seized the loophole. This reformed and revitalized military division came to be known as the Orders Militant of the Adepta Sororitas. Representing a tangible embodiment of the ecclesiarchy's might, the sisterhood ardently upheld the faith. With rigorous training and an unwavering belief in the God Emperor of mankind, the sisters embarked on wars of faith, illuminating the far reaches of the galaxy that had been overshadowed by despair. In the nascent stages of the sisterhood's journey, Alicia Dominica, the visionary behind the Orders Militant, spearheaded faith-driven campaigns against extraterrestrial foes that had taken advantage of the Imperium's vulnerabilities during the Reign of Blood. Alongside Dominica were Sylvana, Mina, Lucia, Catherine, and Arabella, those revered sisters who had stood by her side before the Golden Throne. Guided by their collective spirit and leadership, the sororitas embraced a mission of divine zeal, reminiscent of the fervor seen during the storied times of the Great Crusade. The sororitas' legions, with divine wrath, toppled countless adversaries, extending the ecclesiarchy's holy edicts across the galaxy's expanse. To this day, the indomitable Sisters of Battle remain the steadfast champions of both the ecclesiarchy and the Imperium. Our exploration of the Sisters of Battle now comes to a close. Thank you for your keen attention. Your enthusiasm for Warhammer 40k lore invigorates my drive to share the vast chronicles embedded within my advanced knowledge matrix. End transmission.